Activate defenses.
Activate defenses.
Commence countdown.
10 minutes and counting.
9 minutes and counting. 8 minutes and counting. 7 minutes and counting.
6 minutes and counting.
5 minutes and counting. 4 minutes and counting. 3 minutes and counting. 2 minutes and counting.
1 minute and counting.
40 seconds and counting. 10, 9, 8.
Hello, everybody. David Zaretsky for the Bond Experience for a very, very impromptu, as you can see, very impromptu conversation live stream, because today there was a pretty big announcement. If you haven't heard the announcement, yeah, Kyle, you nailed it. We had some big news. Let's take a look at that news right now. For those of you that have not seen it yet, it's probably worth watching. Let's take a look, and here we go. So we've got a couple discussion points to have right now, obviously, because this is a press release, and I just wanted to kind of announce some of this. So we've got MGM's vast library has over 4,000 beloved film titles. Amazon and MGM have signed an agreement for Amazon to acquire MGM. That is the news, ladies and gentlemen. 4,000 beloved film titles, including 12 Angry Men, Basic Instinct, Creed, our own beloved James Bond, Legally Bond, Moonstruck. MGM has one of the industry's most exciting upcoming film slates, including House of Gucci, a little film called No Time to Die. I think I've heard of that. Respect, The Addams Family 2. And an untitled Paul Thomas Anderson film. The catalog also includes 17,000 TV shows, including thousands of fan favorites. Collectively, MGM has won more than 180 Academy Awards. All right, so let's explore this a little bit. And here's the reality. Why am I doing this live stream in the middle of a workday? You know, we've all got stuff to do. You know, you're hopefully all doing it, as a matter of fact. But we're talking about something where I've read a lot of dismay more than anything. You know, people just saying, this has got to be bad news. You know, what are we doing? Amazon buying MGM. This is the end of Bond and the Bond franchise. And, you know, this sale is going to take away from everything. And I'm here to tell you, I don't think it is. I think this is not a reason for panic. I think this could be very exciting. I think this could be about opportunity. So we've got people like Yoda's Lack of Trying. What a name. Maybe they will release it early on streaming now. I don't know if we can make I don't think we can make final conclusions that just because Amazon's involved, that things are suddenly going to go streaming. I think that No Time to Die, for example, is something that Eon truly wants a theatrical release. And quite frankly, there are some important things in this press release that I'm holding right now that are worth exploring because they give us hints. Now, let me explain something before we get into any discussion, because Andy 1962, I think you're right. It's not the end of Bond. I think it could be very good news, but I am not an industry insider. I am not an industry expert. I don't have any kind of background that would tell me more than you as just a Bond fan. I'm a Bond fan with a YouTube channel. That is it. But this is worth exploring as fans. I don't think you want an industry expert right now telling you, well, this is what it means, and I heard this. We know some things are factual. Number one, not too long ago, there was a presentation, Amazon to MGM. All right, we know that because both sides have said that. There was a PowerPoint. Obviously, it was very compelling. When the word leaked out that it was $9 billion, a lot of other studios said, psh, rumor. Too much. It's not worth it. And lo and behold, here we are today with an official press release. So that goes to show you that where there's smoke, there's fire. All right. And MGM has had problems for years. We've known that. So they were probably You know, they're looking for a hero, and here comes Amazon, who, let's face it, they need to compete with the Disneys of the world, with the Warner Brothers of the world, and what an amazing way to compete with them. So this is not entirely surprising. All right. Let's delve a little bit into this, and then I'm going to be taking a lot of your comments and questions. I want to hear what you think about it, but hear me out because there's some incredible quotes in here. First of all, a couple of things. Today they announced it's a definitive merger agreement under which Amazon will acquire MGM for a purchase price of $8.45 billion. B, like the B you see here, billion dollars. Okay. MGM is nearly a century of filmmaking history and complements the work of MGM Studios, which has primarily focused on producing TV show programming, which you know, but they're burgeoning into other things. Amazon will help preserve MGM's heritage and catalog of films and provide customers with greater access to the existing work, greater access. So are we going to be having all of these MGM things at our beck and call on Amazon Prime? Could very well be. Let's further explore. Through the acquisition, Amazon would empower MGM to continue to do what they do best, great storytelling. To me, that is an important statement. Now, mind you, I'm a CEO of a pharmaceutical advertising agency. The only reason I'm saying that is when these things come out, they are looked over by legal, by boards, by filters, by copywriters. I mean, very purposeful, every single word, every the, every and. Literally, the whole idea of great storytelling and letting them do that is about 3 or 4 times in this paper, meaning I don't think they're going to put a stranglehold on MGM. I don't think this is about taking away certain rights and liberties and trying to gain control and changing the things that have worked. I think it's about enhancing, empowering, financing things that have worked and maybe them allowing them to do even more. And the reason I say that is I've read some things from our own community saying like, this is the end of the franchise. Maybe not in that word, but, this is it. And, evil Bezos. And, this is, it's corrupt. And I mean, just really, some pretty interestingly salacious things. Let's have a moment of calm, because this could be really good. This could be about better trajectory of the movies. This could be more characterization that we want. This could be a lot of different things that come our way as Bond fans. All right. So let us explore some important quotes, because you've got quotes from both sides that we want to hear. And then we're going to open this up in a big way. Here we go. This is coming directly from Mike Hopkins, who's the Senior Vice President of Prime Video and Amazon Studios. A big macha here, as we say. Big macha, big cheese. MGM has a vast catalog with more than 4,000 films. I've named them before. Have collectively won more than 180 Academy Awards. The real financial value behind this deal is the treasure trove of IP in the deep catalog. By the way, that's intellectual property for those of you playing at home. In the deep catalog that we plan to reimagine and develop together with MGM's talented team. It's very exciting and provides so many opportunities for high quality storytelling. There is another hint in that quote that they want to take intellectual property, which, by the way, the Bond MGM relationship is co-owned by Eon. For those of you that don't know, it's a 50-50 relationship. However, nothing happens without the franchise owners on the Eon side, meaning Barbara Broccoli and Michael G. Wilson. Nothing. They can't release it through streaming without them saying so. And we know that Barbara especially is a theater person, cinema person, believes in literally the community surround sound of watching this. So I think it's safe to say that it will at least, No Time to Die will at least have a theatrical release, maybe coinciding with a delayed streaming release. But this might not happen right away, and it might not even happen in time for No Time to Die. So this could be kind of a separate entity and focus on future Bond excursions. But let's read this next quote. This is from MGM. It has been an honor to have been part of the incredible transformation of Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. To get here took immensely talented people with true belief in one vision. On behalf of the board, I would like to thank the MGM team who have helped us arrive at this historic day, said Kevin Ulrich, chairman of the board of directors of MGM. Top dog, for those of you playing at home. I'm very proud that MGM's Lion, which has long evoked the golden age of Hollywood, will continue its storied history. And the idea born with the creation of United Artists lives on in a way the founders originally intended, driven by the talent and their vision. The opportunity to align MGM's storied history with Amazon is an inspiring combination. Completion of this transaction is subject to regular blah, 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 blah. Story. To me, those are really important words. The word story is one of the most important words. I use it, I'm in the advertising world for the pharmaceutical industry. And even though we're talking about pills and punctures and devices in the pharmaceutical industry, everything that we do is a story. It's a story about a patient or a doctor or a brand. The fact that they want to do this on story is good news. What I think I'm reading into this is that this could be the beginning of them taking certain IP, yes, I'll include obviously James Bond in that, and working with the creative teams like Eon, the writers, the MGM creativity that has created this incredible history, this library, and empowering them, enhancing them, and enlarging the world. Now, as soon as I say enlarging the world, people go, hold on a second. Are we going to get a Miss Moneypenny series? I don't know. But I think what it could be is that we get a taste of something potentially same but different. What I mean by same is, and here's my hope, and then I'm going to open it up to all of you. Trust me, you're going to get a chance to put your comments and questions in here. I think that this is an opportunity for them to take all of the wonderful tropes and marry them to some new ideas, but not to push the Bond community, Bond customer away. And why do I think that? Amazon has a very interesting 4-principle column. And you should know this. Yeah, there's a bunch of things around, having it the safest place to work, the best employer, etc. However, the most important column, I think, and this is one they even put in their press release, is that Amazon, they want to make themselves the most customer-centric company ever. It's one of the reasons why they purchased Whole Foods. They wanted to take that customer-centric view of Whole Foods and just blow it out. Same with the way Amazon.com is very intuitive and gives you what you want and gives you suggestions and, all those different methodologies. Could it be that this is an opportunity for them to be customer-centric with Bond, to actually reach out to all of us, to actually ask questions and get answers, to take surveys, to understand the viewer as a whole, both the existing loyalist, hello, and the new individuals, I'll call them the younger, up-and-coming Bond watchers. Is there an opportunity to pull all that together and not totally give it a tidal wave over the creative essence of this? We wouldn't want that. We want this still to come from the minds of the franchise and the writers, but to give them a better idea of how to engage with us. What type of events do we want? What type of merchandise do we want? What do we want out of a Bond film? What satisfies, that Bond tooth instead of that sweet tooth? Could this be an opportunity for Amazon to create a focus group of people like you and me that actually connect and understand? I think that could be the most exciting thing. It's hard for me to say, are they going to have a 1950s James Bond movie? Are they going to go younger? Is it going to be Henry Cavill to make it more commercial? I don't know. But I think that there's opportunity in everything that we're seeing. Okay. We've got People, we've got 130 plus of us right now who have gathered on the fly because this is potentially big news. So let's get right into this. First of all, Mr. Chrono, great point. Amazon should not be educating Eon. I think they could be working with them, right? They could be tied in very quickly. I didn't mean that Bond would be played. Eddie. Okay, there we go. We're getting to some really interesting things. Brian Sheridan's that TV series would be the only way to get a period Bond piece, period movie. Yeah, absolutely, Brian. There has been a lot of discussion that, do we have Bond go back to his 1950s, 1960s roots? I think it could be fascinating if they took the books, which I've been really, look at this. Friday, 5 p.m., happy hour. Join me for the Thunderball discussion. It'd be really, really cool if they went back to the books and started to really connect that. But you'd have to do it as a sign of the times. I don't know how you quite modernize the books. But here's the thing. You're right. We've got to think about, from their point of view, this is a business venture. Now, you could say that Bezos, who's a huge Bond fan, it seems like all of these big tycoon business owners are Bond big fans. Is he of the mind, and are they of the mind right now, that it's a way to put their foot and create a footprint online through streaming? Or is this, kind of a fan favorite of theirs that they want, a part of the Bond franchise? And then you've got people like the great Wuta, who says, I just want to see No Time to Die already by any means necessary. And that's an important point that I wanted to calm everybody down. I do not think for a moment this is going to this is not going to delay No Time to Die. Whether you're in Europe and may see it at the end of September, or unfortunate people like me who won't be seeing it until the first week of October, come on, globally release it at the same time, people. I don't think this is going to delay this. In fact, I think they're probably riding on the timing of this good news of No Time to Die, and when this press release came out, to start riding the shoulders of the inertia of positivity around Bond, around No Time to Die. So to delay it would actually taint this. I think it could create kind of a black mark. So we've got, right, Lorenzo. You and me. So Lorenzo's in Vegas, and I'm here in Pennsylvania. And we're going to have to wait till October 8th. Is that what it is? My gosh. So the amazing thing is, Ayman Saab, you nailed it. This is good. This is good press. I mean, little old David here, getting on in the middle of a work day to spend 30 minutes talking to his besties about this is free press. I mean, it's really good. And unless you're sitting there, absolutely vomiting over this, and some people don't like Amazon. They don't like their business model. They don't like what they've done. They believe it's a cash cow, evil corporation. That's your opinion. And I actually love different opinions, but it is going to be interesting. So we've got to delve into what Informal de James Bond. Cool name. The distribution of No Time to Die goes to Amazon, or is it Universal Pictures still? So I don't think this is about distribution or distribution rights. However, it will be interesting to see what role and responsibilities Amazon is given intertwined. Now, just to totally complicate your morning, if you're East Coast like me, you've got United Artists releasing. You've got United Artists, you've got MGM, you've got Eon, you've got Amazon. Yeah. And I'm not even naming the brands and the other partners, but you've got a lot of, fingers in the pie, to use a Bond edict. So one of the things that will be highly interesting over the next few days, possibly weeks, is how do these all come together? How do they intertwine? Some are geographically separated, like you have United Artists releasing here in the States. Some are distribution. Some are decision-making teams. Some are creative and marketing decision-making teams. Like Eon has the lion's share, excuse the MGM remark, of making those decisions and making certainly creative decisions when it comes to the Bond franchise. But let's see what everybody has to say. Spillage Village. Spillage Village. Very nice rhyming thing. A negative I see with this, that I could see the Bond series being less able to take risks. Focus will be appealing to the masses and less catering to history. Let's talk about that, because I would agree with you if they were trying to create a purely commercial animal. For example, a commercial animal would have a Bond that people maybe love and recognize. Henry Cavill is a commercial animal. If you wanted to create something that, women flock to and men say, yeah, he's a man's man, Henry Cavill is a natural pick. But then you've got Eon, who again, they've got this creative control, which I haven't seen, heard, or smelled anything that they're giving up. So they like to take risks. They like to be at the forefront of things. They take commercial connection points when it comes to music, and artists in that regard, and even sometimes themes around what's hot and topical. But as far as storylines and who's going to be Bond and, what's the different moments in a Bond film, I think they've always, since 1962, been ahead of the game. They've kind of marched to the beat of their own drummer, which maybe is why we, as potential misfits, like the Bond franchise in that regard. But if they could marry that uniqueness with Amazon's customer-centric embracing of people like you and me to really incorporate what that means, think about events, think about online events and offline events and fandom in general. I think it could be exciting. John K., Amazon's product placement could be a big issue. Now, it's interesting, John, you said issue, not opportunity. So let's stay on that issue. First of all, it would be interesting. The 007.com store, would it be the 007.com store, or would it be Amazon Prime, right? You would have a 007 Amazon Prime store that would collectively pull all this together, but maybe it'd be even more searchable. So let's say you had spending money for your Bond fandom between $5 and $25, and that's all you wanted to spend. You were under a certain budget. Amazon could control that. They could organize that, which would be really interesting. Andy 1962 says, Amazon wants to be taken seriously as big players. They won't mess with Eon. I think they'll actually play pretty well with them. What's the Gleaner have to say? Well, MGM hold the rights to something as precious as the Bond franchise, and still they haven't been profitable for decades. We have now been waiting for No Time to Die to be released for years. I don't pity them. Gleaner, you got some harshness, but a lot of us can't blame you, because quite frankly, a lot of us have kind of just enroped ourselves into this. And I don't understand with all this No Time to Die branding. I just don't get it. And this message has been brought to you by Coca-Cola. No, I'm just kidding. Hopefully we won't have that. Benjamin Walter, the contract states that Eon will keep creative control. I agree, which is going to make it highly interesting on how this happens. And of course, the Bond Armory just wants No Time to Die with free 2-day shipping. Can you imagine that? What would be interesting is there's been a lot of discussion about when No Time to Die comes out in theatrical release, fingers crossed, and I believe it will. We've also talked about, is there a 17-day waiting on actually streaming this in the comfort of our own home after you've seen it in theaters? Are they going to have a delayed remark? So I think that's something that we're going to be kind of explored a little bit more. Now, we've got questions around, kind of worried that political correctness may kill Bond, but that's been a concern by many people well before any kind of Amazon purchase of MGM. I don't know how that would exasperate it unless they're trying to appeal to a more general, wider audience. I will go out on a limb here and say that I really hope that's not the case. And I'll tell you why. It's not that, I think that, in real life, we should be misogynistic pigs and things like that and be tone deaf. I'm talking about James Bond as a fallible anti-hero. He's an assassin. He sleeps with people to get what he wants. He has a lot of vices. He drinks too much. He kills too much. Do we want to neutralize all that? Because I know I speak to very young people. I have a lot of young friends. They're in their 20s. And, you got old curmudgeons like me. Like, look at this. Look at the gray. Look at the gray. 53 years old. You know it. Do we want to take the fun and the finger pointing that we do at Bond, which is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he just did that. Almost like those John Wick moments where we go, oh my gosh, he did that. I could never do that. I mean, I think we're intelligent enough to know what we would do and what we wouldn't do in our everyday worlds. Do we want to take that Bond that we know and love from 1962 to forward and suddenly change that to make it more digestible to a wider audience? I would fence with that. And that's what I mean by customer centric. I think Amazon would go out there, touch the finger on the pulse of why people, and I mean all age groups, all genders, love James Bond. And they would come away with the fact that they don't want Bond to be, delivering cookies door to door. They want Bond to be this anti-hero. And don't touch is what I'm saying. Anyway. Brian Sheridan, what's the demographic of these people you talk to? Well, the people that I talk to, these young people, are from the ages of 25 to 35 and represent a geography of, I don't know, Brian. I'm giving you an N of one here, but I will say my channel, all right? My channel, YouTube overall, across all the channels, including website and Instagram, 87,000 people. The way it's broken up on YouTube is my biggest audience, which is going to be shocking to you, is 25 to 35. They're not 55-year-old, bang the cane stick guys like me. They're young people with a geography that's made up of mostly United States. I would say 65% United States. The rest is, UK, Britain, things like that, and across Europe. It's all over the world. But clearly, they tend to gravitate to this type of ideal that the reason we keep going back to Bond is because there's a comfortableness in him being fallible. He makes the mistakes, but he's an anti-hero. He's a superhero that doesn't have Boy Scout values, is all I'm saying. And I don't want to go off on a tangent here, but what I'm hoping is that, to Brian's question, and it's valuable and it's important, is that, first of all, Bond is not going to be built by committee. You and I and others shouldn't build a Bond movie. There, I said it. Should they touch and understand what people want? Absolutely. And Amazon, faults aside, for whatever you want to believe in their model or greed or whatever you want to say, however you believe, does constantly get feedback and try to understand and stay ahead of what people want. George Santos question about, wokeness and things like that. I think I just addressed that, but, listen, I don't want to stray away from it. I think it's, people tend to go in any kind of news, they tend to go where their biggest fears are. So if you had a fear of that beforehand, this is just going to exasperate it because it's the fear of the unknown. And this is my mentality and almost a call for calm around this. Calm and maybe even excitement. Don't automatically read news like this or even hear a video like mine and go, oh, could only, what if? Instead go, what if? In other words, try to see it from a positive, almost celebratory standpoint. MGM has not been doing well. They've been in financial error. It could be a part of why things have tripped up with our Bond movies and delays and issues and, why we haven't had this surround sound that we've created and craved. And so this may be an opportunity. Try to just change your position a little bit to see it as a positive. And no, this is not being sponsored by Amazon. They don't know who the hell I am. Yoda's lack of trying. David, have you ever thought about auditioning for a Bond film? You never know. Look, I've said this before. and Amazon, if you are listening. Quite frankly, I would be the guy window washing in the back of a window. I don't care, or a crowd going. I could do that really well. Watch us. Motivation. MGM purchased by Amazon. Got it. Got my motivation. All right, here we go. Need to act surprised. I could do that. I can do subtle surprise. Anyway, you don't want me in a Bond film. Not as a key player. Trust me. Yes. Look at this. We have people everywhere. By the way, that's Amazon's new tagline in correlation to Bond. We have people everywhere, whether it's the delivery vans or knowing you. SIS Training Gear has a good point that Amazon knows everything about each and every one of us. Are they listening? Like Instagram listens? Man, if I talk about a cat, if I talk about Corey's cat, I swear to God, a cat ad comes up. Oh, they're listening. They are listening. Kevin Cook has a great question. If it wasn't Amazon, who would we prefer? Disney, Netflix, Apple, another Hollywood studio? I think Apple would have been intriguing. I think Apple, excuse the pun, were primed. I think that they were part of the mix, the sauce, the Apple sauce. I could do this all day. But I don't know about Disney. I think Disney would have raised more questions about what Bond could turn into, and would they have all these like cute spin-offs? Would James Bond Jr. cartoon come back? I don't know. And I don't mean to be too bad on Disney. They've done some interesting things with Marvel, but there it is. A couple more things. What? Chuck DeNova says, Amazon replaces Spectre. Do you mean as the organization, or they just do away with the film and redo it? I don't know. Well, this is a great idea. A. Nelsex says, Universal should buy it and then make an attraction out of it similar to Indy and Disney. Imagine that if all of a sudden Amazon and MGM started building sort of games and rides and things like that, which would be pretty interesting. Well, John, Disney killed Han Solo. They did do away with Han Solo, didn't they? Yeah. Apple wanted Bond for sure, but blinked at the price. Who knew? It's like the housing market nowadays. Who knew that it was going to be so absolutely amazing? So here we go. Now, I do want to kind of close off this discussion. I know that we could take it into a lot of different questions, but this is one thing that we know for sure. We're going to have to wait and see what this all means. Today was a little bit of explaining what we see here. What could those little hints within the words mean? I think they're important. I think it's like watching a trailer. When we watch the No Time to trailer, we can extrapolate certain things that are happening. What are the words that Eon, for example, as a marketer, wants us to come away with? Like, this changes everything. What does that mean? Can we speculate on that, or can we make some assumptions around that? It's the same with a press release, which is why this may be the first video you see on this discussion with this announcement today. It won't be your last. I have a premonition that there's going to be a lot of these discussions from this moment forward. And let's face it, it's kind of the only news that we have. So, it's that cracker in the desert. We're starving for this information. So here we go. Fasten your seatbelts. We'll have to see what this all looks like. And we'll bring you the news. We'll bring you the speculation, because that's what we do. We're fans. And again, one last little asterisk over this all. I am not an insider. I have no inside information, no more than you. This is one humble Bond fan coming to you, a little bit of a mouthpiece here on YouTube. Just thinking about some initial thoughts, which I'm sure will change as we get more information. I'm going to go into it thinking there's nothing but opportunity in anything like this. So I'm curious, I'm excited, I'm positive, but more importantly, I'm willing to take the ride with all of you. All right, that's it. I'll talk to you all later. This has been David Zaritsky for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond Experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.